What's up, Junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Micah Larson, not with us tonight because he's on dad duty, Jared Larson, but with us, as usual, the Scott Panza, alive and well, heart beating. What a night for you there, Scotty.
Woo-sa. That was just a glorious, glorious night. I mean, both games sweating them out so freaking hard. Rams, I mean, we can get into that a little bit later, but the Pats just, they gave it away. The first half, the pick in the end zone to stop it from being 14-0, and then the Philip Dorsett touchdown. Ooh, going into halftime, you're feeling fantastic, and all I was texting Jared was, come out, get a stop, and let's go seal this game. But Patrick Mahomes came out on fire in the second half. He looked like a stud, and we had a battle back. And the three third and longs in overtime. I mean, Tony Romo just picking apart the plays, telling me exactly what's happening, and then it happens. It was just incredible. Tony Romo, I mean, fantastic yesterday, right?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, that was, from a broadcasting perspective, I rank that up there as probably a top 5 just overall performance from opening kick to final play. That, and I think in my lifetime, I'd put that up there with Joe Buck's call of Cubs World Series Game 7. I thought Joe Buck did a phenomenal job with that game. Romo, so I heard a PFT today say that he has an insider, and I thought this was interesting, that they're basically tapping like the signals. They're like wiring them right into Romo's ear, and so he's able to call him out. I have a hard time believing that because everyone always talks about how hard it is to learn an NFL playbook. Like, yeah, you might have like similar-ish play calls, but it was unbelievable. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, this on this third down right here, you're gonna put Gronk here, hoping to get a double, and put Edelman in the slot and run a seam, and just hope you get the matchups you want." And sure as heck, that is exactly what happens. I mean, he called it every play that drive, every play.
That last drive, he's like, "Oh, Gronk's on the outside. If the safety shade's down, he's going to hit him on a seam route," and that's exactly what happened. I mean, nailed it. So, I mean, A, does Fox reevaluate Troy Aikman because he sure as heck isn't making calls like that? And B, is any NFL team out there like, "Oh man, we should get Tony Romo in here as a coach in some capacity"? I mean, why not? Why not Tony Romo? If Hugh Jackson gets a job in the NFL, why can't Tony Romo? And I'm sure that, it comes with a lot of different challenges, leading a full team. But, he was a quarterback.
Yeah.
So he's used to being a leader like that. So he crushed it. And then Pats on our way to Atlanta. I am so fired up. This is exactly, told you guys over the weekend, this is exactly the matchup I want to see. Rams, Pats, McVay, Belichick. Has all the young guns versus the old guard that you want to see. They really pose some matchup problems for us, especially on the defensive line. Aaron Donald and Dominican Sue are going to be problems. We got to stop Dante Fowler. And then the Cooks, Wood, speed on the outside. I mean, this is going to be an awesome Super Bowl. Curious to see how Todd Gurley's health comes out. Now, what do you think about Todd Gurley? Do you think he's hurt, or do you think he was just having a trash game and they just benched him?
I think it was a little bit of both. You don't want to think that, even if, so yeah, he has those 2 drop passes, whatever. He's the best running back in the NFL and your best player on the offensive side of the ball, hands down. I mean, when he's on the field, he's the best player on the field, like 99% of the time. And so you have a couple bad plays. There's got to be something else going on. I don't know if he just mentally checked out after those 2 drops, because some people do that in that big of a situation with all that on the line, and you make a couple mistakes and you can get between your own ears. And I'm sure McVay was like, "Look, dude, just take a breather.
Today's night."
Yeah, Anderson's fine. I mean, he rushed for over 100 yards last week. It's no sweat. We're going to get you in there. Just regroup and get back out there.
I would love to know what really happened. I'm sure you'll find out at the end of the season. Now, I want to tell you what I'm fired up about. I'll tell you what I'm fired up about as a Patriots fan. First, the biggest hot take today, other than the officiating, I don't really want to get into that. The call was missed. I'm open to how you want to adjust for this in the future because there's definitely a flaw there. But the first thing I heard today was overtime rules need to be changed because Tom Brady got the ball and Patrick Mahomes didn't. What happened in the first game? That went to overtime. The team that won the toss threw a pick, and the Rams had to kick a 57-yarder to win the game. So you're telling me that game's not flawed, but the Patriots game is flawed? Make a freaking stop.
Yep.
You had 3 third and longs. They
Call a timeout.
Call a timeout. Make a stop. They had 3 and longs. They had to go convert those. You are a pro defense. This is not college. I don't want the college gimmick. Everyone gets the ball at the 25-yard line and you have to respond. I don't want a full overtime quarter because what happens if you're in the divisional round, you play an extra quarter, and then you have to go on the road the next week? You're going to be smashed. There's no way you're winning that game. The overtime rules are fine. Make a freaking stop.
Yep, I agree. And I'll even piggyback off of that. That is, so obviously I made a little bit of a joke on Twitter about the 10-year challenge because 10 years ago, the NFC Championship was between the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. Many, many blown calls in that game, but the Saints won, and they go on and yada, yada, yada. Brett Favre goes down the gunslinger, decides he wants to throw it across his body over the middle of the field. Saints pick it off. Yeah. Take a knee. Saints get the ball first and go down and kick a field goal. Changed, obviously, so that was that is the overtime that did everyone in. Oh my gosh, Brett Favre doesn't even get a chance to go out on the field and try and win the game. Like, are you kidding me? So that changed it to where if you get the ball first and go down and kick a field goal, then the other team gets a chance to get the ball. So I don't want to hear it, Saints fans. I don't want to hear it. We should have won the Super Bowl that year. My life of depression continues thanks to you. Tom Brady's been to more Super Bowls by himself than my team has, and pretty much every team in the NFL. So go take a hike, all of you. That call was horrible. I mean, there were two calls missed on that one. You could say it was helmet to helmet.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously pass interference. It just there were a few things too. It's like Sean Payton. Yeah, you can get mad. It's the classic. Like it all boils down to one play where you're just like, that's what cost him the game. But really, there was some clock management in there that if Payton runs the ball twice, then the Rams got to go the length of the field in 40 seconds with no timeouts and yada yada yada. But overall, that was Valhalla of like football right there. That was just heaven.
There's missed calls throughout the game. On the other drive, the Jared Goff got a face mask. No one called it. He would have had first and goal. Like, you just can't look at it in a vacuum. And this has happened in the past where they've lost games and people will say, "Oh, it came down to one play." No, you had opportunities throughout the game. You got out to a big lead on these guys and you couldn't put them away. Now, the call is really bad, but that's football. There's missed calls in every freaking game. Now, my second hot take I heard in the gym this morning from a lot of people. Obviously anti-Pats people. How can you throw that flag on the D Ford offsides? That changed the game. I saw a Max Kellerman tweet, lest we forget that we're a D Ford offsides penalty away from Brady interception, game over. I mean, this is like absolutely insane. It's like the clearest rule there is out there. The flag is thrown before any pass is thrown. And on the flip side, Mahomes took advantage of offsides where they drew guys offsides and then they huck it downfield because you could take advantage of a free play. Now, I don't think Tom Brady thought that they had a free play there, but you don't get to pick and choose when rules are applied. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that changed the course of the game. It's like, well, don't line up offsides. This is football. This is like the simple stuff. And also, it was clear as day that he was offsides. So, I mean, the people out there Michael Wilbon said that the league was rigging the game for them. Like, he was on another planet of crazy today on PTI. I mean, Wilbon might need to hang it up soon because him and my man Tony Kornheiser, they've lost a little bit of their edge in recent years. Just absolute insanity. I mean, the Saints had the ball to win the game. Mm-hmm. The Patriots had to go drive the length of the field twice to go win that game. I mean, both teams earned their wins yesterday. Greg Zuerlein had to kick a freaking 57-yarder.
Yeah, it was a moon ball.
Is that easy? Have we not watched kicks in this postseason where Cody Parkey couldn't nail anything?
That's what I was going to say. Hot take, Auburn dominating the postseason. D Ford, Auburn, class of... Actually, they both graduated 2013. So, yeah, we're both on that 2013 national championship team that lost to Florida State in the second half. So, born to be champions. Born to be champions. That was, God.
Unfortunately, like, this week will be all the hate. Like, these teams, neither of them deserve to be there, which is just a clown show take. But, next week we'll settle in and everyone be down in Atlanta, and we're going to be gearing up for what's certain to be an absolutely stellar Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait to see how these two coaches scheme and game plan for each other. I can't wait to see Brady go up against this defense and how they're going to attack them. I'm very curious to see how Jared Goff plays on the big stage against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has historically had very good success against quarterbacks that he's seen for the first time. So I'm fired up. I can tell all the listeners I've already got some bets in on the Pats because I think the spread is going to creep up to 3. I got 2 today. I'm seeing, it opened at Pats +1 and it's already moved 3 points. So it's going to be an awesome Super Bowl. Now, I would love to take it to the listeners to decide if I should go to the game because I am right now on the fence. Atlanta's not a cheap place to go.
Atlanta is not a cheap place, no. It's a gorgeous stadium, though. I will say that
you bet.
We went to the SEC championship game there, and it was beautiful. Jared's been there like Chick-fil-A 3 times.
On Sunday. I'm going to be pretty sadsies about that. No Chick.
Maybe they'll open it for the Super Bowl. Just maybe.
They should.
I wanted to say this real quick. One, that will be an interesting poll because that'd be a great way to top it off like the year. You win everything. The winning second place competition, yada, yada, yada. You can use some of that winnings towards, obviously, you got some stuff at home you got to take care of that's coming up here. But, it'd be fun to spoil yourself at least a little bit. But I saw Max Kellerman today, and it's almost like the guy has dug himself so deep into a hole. It's like Skip Bayless. Like, everyone, here's just a news flash for you guys if you don't know this. They have production meetings, and I'm pretty sure every time they go in there, Stephen A. and Max are like, hey, this is how I feel about this. And Stephen A. is like, well, this is how I feel, so you got to take the opposite side of it. And they're going to find something to argue on. But with Max, he's dug himself so far into this Brady hole that I think his only option is to keep digging so that he comes out on the other side.
No. Eventually he has to be right. Brady's going to retire, so he'll be right then.
Yeah.
Him and Rob Parker are they're entrenched in the Brady hate, and they have nowhere else to go.
Right.
They have no friends on the other side, and they cannot do it. So they're stuck. Mm-hmm. They're absolutely stuck. Another thing, I'm watching the pregame shows yesterday and talk about just awful. There's a couple guys on these sets on CBS that you can actually listen to and actually have something to offer. And then the other half are just, they're just there because I guess our fathers like to, enjoy listening to them, or any any old man out there. Because who gets any value of listening to Phil Simms and Jimmy Johnson talking right now? I don't get it. I mean, Nate Burleson and Michael Strahan are just heads and shoulders, and my man Boomer. They do a great job, but Bill Cowher, replace these guys. There's a reason why Phil Simms was bumped out of the CBS booth. They should do the same thing with Troy Aikman. Get some new blood in there because they are not, they're not offering you any insights into these games. They're just giving you hyperbole and hot takes. It's brutal.
All Jimmy does is sit there and laugh, and his hair like still hasn't moved since he was at the U. You know, like
but Jimmy was the only one who had Pats Rams yesterday, so maybe he knows something.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. It was, I mean, just truly an amazing day of football from start to finish, and it hit me really hard. I was sitting on the couch and I looked at Peyton and I go, "There's one more football game," and then I sit here and just long for its return. I just. Sit on my hands. I don't know what to do. It's horrible. I have some Super Bowl hot takes. I want some like brain teasers. I want to throw, but I'm gonna save them, put them in my back pocket until kind of everything calms down and we can start focusing more on that. But
I can't wait to talk about some props.
Yes,
because there's gonna be some tasty props out there. My favorite one, last year was the Danny Amendola show. That I just hopped on all these Amendola props and they hit like immediately, and I can't wait to do that this year. I can't wait to listen to Evan Silva and Ross Tucker break down this game because they do such a fantastic job. And then Warren Sharp, he's another podcast. They just break down these games so well. So I can't wait to dig into some of the historicals on Tom Brady versus Wade Phillip defenses. That's going to be a great indicator. There's no real trends that you can do with McVay against like Belichick because they haven't played each other. So, wait, I think the Pats may have played the Rams, but I think it was the Fisher days, so that doesn't count. Talk about how does Jeff Fisher feel that in 2 years after they were 4-12 and he got fired, that they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Do you think he feels good about his coaching prowess?
He's got to feel great. And then Nick Foles won a Super Bowl last year. Case Keenum was in the NFC Championship game. I mean, the guy's got he had 3 successful quarterbacks under his tutelage.
That's right. That's incredible.
It's honestly unbelievable how much talent was on that team, and he still went 8-8. I mean, that's all the guy did. He would win 8 games max. He could not. It's unbelievable.
Can get over that 8-8 hump. So, stick that in the pipe of anyone who doesn't think coaching matters. Now, the next 2 weeks are going to be great prepping for these games. The props, we will have all of them on the pod. We'll have the pick, but you know where my pick is, but I can't wait to explain all the reasons why I'm juiced up. And then we need to decide about Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. Because last year I was going to go to Minnesota, and Minnesota, it was freezing cold and it was dumping snow. And then the day of the game, the prices of the tickets just plummeted. But I'm pretty sure that's because it's Minnesota. Atlanta, different case. So
you're not hating on Minnesota right now, are you?
Made.
I'll freak out, Scott. I'll freak out.
No, I love it. I think it's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. Not
in the wintertime, though.
But it was cold as F.
Yeah. That's true.
And I was going to have to fly into Wisconsin, drive 5 hours to get to Minnesota last year.
What, into Madison? Or not Madison, Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, yeah.
I
had my tickets booked, and then I backed out last second.
Well, that's probably
so
the best.
Because I would have been talk about sadsies and the Sunday scaries. Nothing worse than being at the Super Bowl. You lose.
You got to drive back to
spend all that money. Oh, painful.
Milwaukee. I told my mom, I was like, if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl and they're the first team to play in the Super Bowl at home. I had like all these scenarios played out in my mind. I was like going full revenge games. I was like, okay, I wanted the Falcons to beat the Eagles, so that way we would have the the Falcons at home. We would beat the Saints, revenge from 2009, beat the Falcons, revenge from like 2000, and then go to the Super Bowl and play. Who'd the Pats play? Or no.
Seattle.
They played Seattle. No. To go to the Super Bowl last year.
Last year we played. Jags.
Jags, that's right. So I was like, okay, Jags wouldn't be bad. It'd be kind of fun to talk crap to all these Florida people, but then you play the Patriots at home in the Super Bowl for your first chance at the Super Bowl and like the history of the NFL. And I was like, and Justin Timberlake's performing at halftime. I was like, this is the pinnacle of my life.
Oh, man,
and then we just laid a gigantic egg. That was awesome. But I will say my favorite prop bet always is the national anthem over under. Because I just sit there during the anthem and I'm just sweating. I'm like, come on. hold that home of the three. Just hold that note.
There's some tape being done of how long she sings her current anthems or previous anthems. I forget who's singing it, but there's game film being done on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I've already seen in the Twitter sphere.
I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna. The prop bets are what gets me. And then I'll never forget my first year, actually getting into sports gambling. I went full degenerate in the Super Bowl. It was like, what will this next play be? Pass, run,
Oh my God.
I'm sitting
Tony
there
Romo
just
just cleaned up on that. Holy shit. I already have boxes booked and the pool boxes and all that fun stuff. There's no way luck is going to strike me enough this year that I'm going to win one of those. So I just donated to the local Colony Grill pool. Best pizza in Stanford.
Ooh.
And then definitely do more. I'll do the DraftKings. I whiffed terribly hard yesterday. On one of my DraftKings team, I had Burkhead, Michelle, and Damian Williams, and I still barely cashed. So obviously I'm really good at that.
Jeez. Yeah.
So just oodles of action on the last game, and then August.
Just waiting. Just
I know, right?
Just sitting on that pile of cash, just waiting to see how I'm going to light it on fire.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you got any closing comments? We want to just kind of get a quick initial reaction as the Pats fan of just the awe and wonder of Brady going to a Super Bowl.
I hope, there's a couple closing comments. I woke up to Tom Brady's Instagram post this morning, and it was him and Gronk. We ain't going nowhere. And let me tell you, as a Pats fan, it got me fired up. And then I showed it to some non-Pats fans. They're like, this is why I hate the Patriots. And you know what? I completely get it because it looks cocky. But he could be so much more cockier given his success. Mm-hmm. Now, another thing I will say, people are like, oh, I don't want to see the Patriots in another Super Bowl. Have you watched the other 8 Super Bowls they've been in? They've all been great. Yep. They've all been great games. Yesterday, last year against the Jags, AFC Championship games. Were those not great games? Are you not entertained watching the team play football? Win or lose. If they lose, you get to, celebrate in the Tom Brady sad face and Bill Belichick is human. And if they do win, you still got a great game. You didn't enjoy Pats Falcons 34-28. That wasn't exciting for people, or Pats Seahawks 28-24, Malcolm Butler. I don't get the Pats hate, but so be it. I'm very lucky that I chose the Pats over the Jets, like my brother and my father. Things could be a lot worse, and we're just locked and loaded for Atlanta, and I'm pumped to see them there.
That must be nice, honestly. From the day I was born, I just had purple and gold pumped into my veins, and I can't get it out of me. And it's not like people. I love it being in Florida. People are like, well, how are you still a Vikings fan? You have 3 NFL teams down here. What? Who am I going to cheer for? At least the Vikings are consistently good enough to let me down. The teams here, it's just they just suck.
Yeah.
You're just hashtag really sadsies for after
all the time.
After September's over. You're just well, that was a good season. We'll roll it out from here. So, but yeah, we'll see. So we'll get the whole group together here to really start diving into Super Bowl week preparation, and even maybe we'll go a little Pro Bowl funsies, see what's going on there. Lots of Trubisky, Mitchell sneaking in with Goff going to the Super Bowl now, so missing out on the Pro Bowl, and then who's replacing Brady?
Good question.
I'm trying to remember.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So
he wasn't going regardless. If they lost yesterday, he had a phantom injury and he was not.
100%. So okay, I'm going to end it with this. And I thought this was a good question on Pardon My Take. And I was like, definitely going to ask Scott that. Chances Brady walks off if they win this Super Bowl?
0.
0.
0. He wants to play. He wants to continue to play. They win. He'll soak in the moment. He'll be back next year ready for more. He's not going anywhere. And why would he go anywhere? He still looks phenomenal. But, oh, man, I'll tell you, love the act of him going to talk to Mahomes after the game, because there's definitely a ton of respect there, because Mahomes is absolutely the truth, and he'll probably be torturing Pats fans for years to come because he is legit. But I hope he takes the cue from Tom Brady. I heard about a $200 million contract for him. You know, far be it for me to tell someone not to get paid. But, man, you hamstring your team. Just look at the top paid quarterbacks this year. None of them made the playoffs. And that's a reason, because it's tough to build the whole organization, and you need every last piece to be competitive and successful in this league. But, yeah, I mean, that game was awesome. Pat Mahomes is absolute.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's throwing some salt in my wound there again with the whole paid quarterbacks thing. Come on.
Sorry. You're stuck with it for a few years.
Just two more. Just long enough for Trevor Lawrence to come in and be my savior. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this week's edition of Pigskin Junkies. A little recap of championship weekend. A little special
Pats juice, baby.
Yeah, not huge Rams fans on here. Just kind of like, yeah, that was a good game, but we had to get Scott's reaction. So, and I'm sure Jared will have some hot takes on the referees. I'm excited to hear that. So we'll get that later. Later on in the week, we'll be bringing you the podcast normal time, but wanted to get it nice and fresh, get the hot takes out there with everyone else as they're just spewing venom and seeing what sticks. So, for myself, Michael Larson, and the one, the only Scott Panza, we are out of here, folks. See ya!